doing a new series. This one is called 666. 6 questions, 6 answers in 6 minutes. We're starting here with the Newkirks. Greg and Dana, you might have heard of them before, but we're going to let them introduce themselves in the quickest way possible. It's not question 1, promise. Tell us a little about yourselves.
Wow, what's interesting about us?
I am Dana Newkirk.
You're a witch.
I am a witch. This is Greg Newkirk.
I am a man witch.
A man witch.
And we run the Traveling Museum of the Paranormal and the Occult. We have a television series called Hellier, and we pop up on TV shows once in a while. Sometimes we're lucky enough to hang out with Jeff Goldblum. Once in a great while.
That was so good. Now, we're not going to time you, so we're not going to make it the worst.
Okay. We have 6 seconds.
But get it.
Not
get
6
it
seconds, 6 minutes. You have a
6
minute for each question, or else it would be really terrible, wouldn't it?
Okay, I thought it was like lightning round. Stuff.
Oh, wait, I wouldn't be able to keep up. So, your first question. The most egregiously insane haunted item story you've been told.
Ooh, the
outlandish. Whether they gave you something or not.
There's a really good one. It's the dude with the skull.
Oh, this is such a good one. Can
This
this
is
be
good
our
one.
combined answer?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think I could top this one.
We were at an event, and this guy came up to us, and he tried to buy the crown off of us for
He did.
$10,000. That was the first one.
Instant red flag. First red flag.
And then the next one was, he told us this insanely elaborate story about how he had gone to the Peruvian jungle to meet with the head of a headhunter tribe, and the headhunter tribe elder decided that he would bestow upon him one of their sacred skulls, and it was a skull that had carvings from the tribe on it and everything like that. And he was like, it's the craziest thing. It's so haunted. You know, I had to go to the jungle to get this thing. Now I keep it in my tattoo shop. And I was like, holy cow, I would love to see this thing. Like, already knowing, like, this guy's full of shit. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. So he pulls out this photo of it on his phone, and it's the plastic skull with the alchemical symbols that are on it that you can, like, buy on Amazon. And I don't know how he thought that we would buy that story. That one was probably the craziest fake haunted item
We had
story.
no idea how. We just looked at him for a long time.
How do you tell someone, like, that's made of resin?
You know, it's not going to make any difference. Like, you know, all that's going to do is escalate it into like a weird pissing match. And it's like, I know it's fake. I'm never going to
I'm pretty
repeat
sure
this story.
he also knew that it was fake. I think maybe
Yeah.
it was probably the case.
And it's, you know, if anyone ever came to me and was like, have you heard the story? I'd be like, oh yeah, no, of course it's not real. Like, here, I'll show you where you can buy it for $50 on Amazon. The teeth aren't even separate pieces.
No, they're like
It's
fused
just
into like a mold.
vacuum form molded.
Could be haunted though, guys. Maybe he went to the jungle and was like, I gotta get it from the Amazon.
Amazon. Wait a
Well,
second, it's all
maybe he
coming
wasn't
together.
lying. He did get it from
It's
That's
all
great.
coming together.
That's great. All right. Number 2, this is for both of you. Of all the things that you have collected and been sent, what are each of your most favorite weird items? I thought you'd have an answer so quick for this. Wow.
Well, there's so many.
Oh boy.
I know. I'm trying. Well, okay. I guess mine would probably be pretty easy. Which would be the tarot card deck that I've been using. That is now retired. The Hoi Polloi, which is a really, really great, beautiful deck that was reproduction or kind of rip off of the Rider-Waite that was printed in the 70s. And the person who gave it to us, they had a friend of theirs had bought it at an antique store or something like that. And the story was that there was a woman who had used the cards, and when she got it home, she cleansed them, and weird things started happening around her. So they gave the cards to us, and it was really interesting because I think more than anything, if there was anything attached to it, it was likely the person who loved the cards and worked with them a lot. So we just invited her to continue working with them. And it was a deck that I used for a really long time until we did the last Proctor House episode, and it was such a weird episode. It was so intense that I just sort of decided it's time to retire this deck. So now it lives on a shelf, and I always imagine it in tarot card retirement home or drinking pina coladas on the beach somewhere, something very nice and lovely. But yeah, that is probably one of my favorites.
That's cool.
All right, real quick. it's not, wouldn't say it's necessarily my favorite, but it's the one that I think about the most because I can't understand it. There's a haunted hotel in Kentucky, the Anderson Hotel, and it's been closed for quite a long time. There've been a couple TV shows about it, and they've always kind of glossed over some of the more interesting things, in my opinion. But one of the things that was found there was this weird wooden tablet that has some strange writing on it, and a depiction of what looks like some kind of a mystic standing on snakes and some numbers and weird stuff. We cannot for the life of us figure out what these things are. There have been people who've tried to translate them. No one really knows. It has some similarity to something here or there. So it looks like it's probably some kind of a personal spell, like some kind of a personal talisman. And I think the mystery of that one and the fact that I'm always going to be asking what this thing is, what was it meant for, it never leaves my head. I think about that one a lot.
That's really weird. That's like really.
It's a really weird one.
That's off the deep end. Like cards with little pina colada. I can visualize. That's just like in Kentucky.
Yeah, and it used to be like a halfway house.
Okay.
So there were a lot of, it had a lot of people in and out. A lot of people died in the place. In fact, I believe that the room that this thing was discovered actually has there was, I think a suicide in the room. There was a big bloody mattress that they had found in this place. One of our friends is a corrections officer, so he has access to luminol, which if you spray it on strange stains, it'll tell you whether they're biological. Definitely, like lit up like a Christmas tree while we're in there. So I don't know what the deal with this thing is, but I'm always wondering.
That's a great thing to think about, though. Like a little dark, but it's also really great. We're almost through. This one, just for you, Dana. What about your first discovery of witchcraft and magical practice was the most intriguing aspect that kept you pursuing it even when you were young?
Interesting. So I always joke that my origin story for witchcraft is that I watched The Craft when I was 16 in a movie theater, and it was my gateway into the world of magic. And I think maybe from that point, for me, I've always really loved nature and working with nature, and kind of just tuning into the natural cycles has always been something that's really important to me. So it was probably the first thing that like settled with me when I started to attune myself to those natural cycles, and I was like, this is me for life. Like I'm good, and it kind of continued pushing me in all sorts of different directions. But it was that feeling of like connecting with nature and that sense of like coming home, really, in a lot of ways, that it really represented for me. So that probably would be. That'd probably be my answer. I like that.
The Craft probably did that for so
many
many
of us.
people.
So
Did
many.
the butterfly scene get you too? Because that's the one that's
yeah. I'm waiting for my moment when all the butterflies will come and land on my hands, and
everything will be validated.
Yeah.
So far, it's just cats.
So far, just
Cats just keep coming out.
That's
But
fine.
I'm also good with that.
Oh, that's great. All right, Greg. What are the 3 most important books anyone interested in the paranormal should read?
All right, you put me on the spot here.
This is
I'm not going to vouch that these are the most important, but these are ones that are very meaningful for me, and you might find meaningful. I think that lightning round. I think that a really, really important book is The Trickster and the Paranormal by George B. Hansen. It's very academic, it's very dry, but it's by an actual parapsychologist, and it talks about some of the trickier aspects of paranormal investigation. Some of the ones that people don't really like to talk about. They're kind of taboo, dealing with people who lie and dealing with like very trickstery types of subjects. If you can make it through, if you can just sit down and focus on it, it will change the way that you think about any of the phenomena. Another one that I think I'll say is very important to me. There's a new set of books called Where the Footprints End by friends of mine, Timothy Renner and Joshua Cutchin. And it's all about much stranger Bigfoot sightings, the kind of Bigfoot sightings that cryptozoologists hate to acknowledge. So Bigfoot sightings like coming out of a UFO or disappearing, or the whole premise of the book is footprints that stop in the middle of a field and no one can seem to figure out where this thing has gone to. I think that's a very important series of books. And I think, God, what would be a third one? Yeah, let's do Mothman Prophecies. if you can get past some of the stuff that didn't age very well,
Yeah, that's true.
in John Keel's writing, little bit racist, little bit misogynistic, didn't really age that well. It's definitely a classic, and even if you watching the movie doesn't count. Read the book. There's so much weird stuff in there, and any of these 3 books will lead you to other books that are just as weird, and that's very important too. So make sure that you check out the bibliographies in the back of these things and read the stuff in them. But those are 3 very important books to me. I think will change the way that you think about the phenomenon.
And fantastic books. All right. In what ways have you seen the paranormal field evolve since you began being very weird? Especially so in the public, with all of us using the internet and media as part of the paranormal.
I think for me personally, I've seen something that I'm going to focus on things that are positive for this answer. But I think one of the best things that I've seen is I've seen a lot of people move further away, particularly over the last couple of years, from a very Judeo-Christian view of the phenomena. So more and more people are embracing things like witchcraft in the paranormal. They're embracing things like other cultures and other spiritual beliefs in the paranormal. Because for the longest time, and I think a lot of this is because of movies like The Exorcist and people like Ed and Lorraine Warren, Conjuring films and things like that notwithstanding, people seem to have viewed all paranormal phenomena, ghosts, as either dead people or demons. That's the type of thing that people would view. But now we're seeing so much weirder stuff happen. There's so much more of an embrace of ideas like egregores and the use of witchcraft in the paranormal. I think that's a really big, important thing.
Okay, mine's sort of a piggyback off of that. I think I'm also really excited about seeing people just wanting to be weird and experiment and have fun. There's like a very distinct time period in the history of paranormal research where it's been very serious white men either telling people what ghosts are and being very, very, very serious. And I think that what's interesting is we're seeing now more of an embrace of weirdness and having fun and being willing to say that you don't really know what's going on and being willing to do some weird experiments and have fun. And I think that that's a very, surprisingly enough, it's a very strange thing considering that what we're talking about are like ghosts and cryptids and UFOs and all sorts of weird things. That sense of play has not really been something that people really embrace. And it's really starting to happen. We've noticed it over the past couple of years. And I love it. I love it so much. And it's like a fresh and breath air. It's a new chapter, I think, in paranormal research. And I love every second of it.
I love that. Oh, yeah. This is going to be 6:15 because we're not cutting it down.
Oh, no.
Last one.
This was my question, by the way, coming.
From Ryan. What are the most necessary road trip snacks you must have when traveling for the weird?
Good
God.
question.
I'm a huge fan of Mountain Dew. Big Mountain Dew fan. Have to try every single new
He
flavor of
definitely
Mountain Dew.
does.
So Voodoo that recently came out?
Oh, yes.
Great. What was it? It was Starburst, right? That was definitely the flavor.
Was it?
It was definitely.
I thought Skittles, but they changed it this year. It was a little different.
This year, I think it was Starburst.
Yeah, I think so. It was delicious.
I really thought you were the only person who
Chews.
delved into
Is that so generic chewy
fruit
candy
chews,
taste?
I think is what it was.
It was good.
It's got the caffeine. It's got the sugar high. Gonna
Yes.
keep you up. Gonna keep you awake. And Doritos.
That's classics.
PepsiCo can cut me a check and they can write it to Post Office Box 17605.
I'm trying to think of what wrappers are currently on the floor of our car right now.
That too.
And here's a really good one for road trips. And this is, I don't know if you realize this or if you had known this beforehand, but if you are constantly kind of eating while you're driving, it keeps you awake. And obviously you don't just want to constantly be eating or you'd be full and you probably feel very bad. Sunflower seeds.
Yeah.
Sunflower seeds, when it's like 3 o'clock in the morning and you're absolutely exhausted, if you just kind of keep working on sunflower seeds, there's something about it like keeps your brain
mind
going
awake.
and it helps you stay awake. So sunflower seeds have been like the go-to always in the car, any road trip, snack. And usually they get busted out at about 2 o'clock in the morning when we're both completely
On the way
exhausted.
home from an investigation.
Yes, and we're just
kind
like,
of drowsy. Probably shouldn't be driving.
A little homage
you
to
gotta.
Fox Mulder, I guess.
Yep.
We just have to have those sunflower
Yes,
seeds.
channel your Fox Mulder and eat those sunflower seeds.
Leave a little mess behind, know you were there, and you did a good thing.
Little
You
trail.
get a spit cup.
Oh God. Nothing picture
I
like
do.
Ace Ventura. Like,
You use what you do is you use your empty Mountain Dew bottle.
There you go.
Spit it with that.
then it really has your mind working, so you stay awake on the longest drives from the
Yeah.
weirdest places in the middle of the night. Thank you guys.
Oh my
Thanks
God.
for
This
our
was so
first
fun.
episode of
I love it.
666. It's gonna be 6620. We're just starting here. We're having fun. We're gonna talk to some weird people. You guys already know that we're weird. There's a lot more weirdos out there. You need to find them. Thanks for joining us. If you liked it, hit the subscribe button. Smash that like button. Hit the thumbs up. Hit subscribe.
Can
if
I
you
point in
haven't.
the direction of where the subscribe
gonna
button is
be?
going to be?
Right at the bottom of the frame.
Right there. Yep.
You know
right
the
there.
deal. Stay weird.